This is my Inclusive Leaders presentation. My name is Megan Hance. First, I'm going to start off by giving some examples of what an inclusive leader is. An inclusive leader is people-oriented, creates warm and safe environments, delivers reliable results, they're a good listener, they show appreciation for the other contributors, create collaborative and understanding environments. Now my two articles, I chose to do one as a business example and one as an educational example. My article 1 is the business example. Its title is Did Mary Barra's inclusive leadership style propel her to the top? Mary Barra is the new CEO of GM and demonstrates the traits of an inclusive leader. This article and this change in the CEO received a lot of attention because Mary is the highest ranking female executive for the first time in the auto industry. As you know, the auto industry is very well dominated by the male population, so Mary is the first female executive. Her leadership style includes, but it's not limited to, collaboration. She uses the consensus approach. She asks for input from others. She holds town meetings to get input even from the community. She's very open. She receives and asks, or she appreciates and asks for input. She gets to know employees. She provides feedback after listening to all of the ideas, and she's very approachable. Those are the two main aspects the article hit for Mary. The second article that I watched, the TED Talk, I had seen it before at a professional development at school and instantly thought of it to use for this project. It's called How to Fix a Broken School. It was a TED Talk given by Linda Clayette Wayman. Linda is a principal in Philadelphia. She had been a principal at several schools before, but the specific school that she's talking about in her TED Talk was a poor performance school called Strawberry Mansion. Strawberry Mansion not only had low test scores, but a high number of violence reported, arrests reported, things like that at the school. During her talk, she had 3 main slogans that she repeated throughout the entire time. Her first one was, if you're going to lead, lead. She meant by that she wasn't going to be the type of principal that sat back at her desk and only did paperwork and busy work. She was going to be out there making a change in her school. If she wanted the staff and the students to change, then she was going to help be a part of that change. So she put together a committee to tackle these type of issues. They did small issues like clean the entire school, the classrooms, the hallways, things like that. When she became principal, the school was a wreck. There was resources everywhere, boxes, trash, paper. So they went through and she said use 2 dumpsters a day to clean out that school. Some of the bigger issues that they tackled were redoing the entire student schedule. They wanted to include more time for counselor, let's say, so more resources for the students. She also put in place a positive behavior support plan and received a lot of good feedback from that. The students knew her expectations and there was things put in place for when they did not follow those. The second slogan she said frequently was, so what, now what? When she became principal, she had a meeting with the state and they told her all of the bad things that had happened at the school, the low test scores, the violence, aggression, all of that. And she said, so what? Now what are we going to do about it? She wanted to take action and do something and change the way that the school had been perceived before. So she put on first professional developments for the teachers so she could show them how to teach students like this and what best ways these students learned and how to use different resources and things like that. The third slogan that she said and was obviously the most emotional about is, if nobody told you they love you today, remember I do. She believed in her students and she loved them. She not only just saw them, she saw what they could do and not what they had been in the past. She knows what type of students they were, and so she wanted to see them for what they could do in the future. She wanted to get to know each and every one of her students, so to do this she said you needed to spend time with them. So she took on the role of managing the cafeteria during lunchtime. She was able to sit down and have life talks with students, heart-to-hearts, talk about their future and their goals, things like that. She said that this was the most emotional for her because she was one of those students that she is now being the principal for. She was a poor student from a single mother home, and so she felt what they were going through, and she wanted to be there for her students. So how to apply these inclusive leadership strategies in your school? First, you've got to model the way. You've got to show your staff that you're willing to do the job too. You're not giving them the short end of the stick or a bad job that you wouldn't do. You've either done those jobs or you're willing to help do them. You have to show them that you believe in them and you back them and support them. You need to see the potential in the staff and the students. Make sure they know that you're right there behind them, cheering them on. The next step is to inspire a shared vision. Get all the staff and students on board with the vision of the school. Express where you want the school year to go and get all the members to buy in. You need to make sure that everyone's a part of that vision so that it inspires them to want to share the same vision. If they are not involved in it, then they may not necessarily want to be a part of the vision. The third thing is challenge the process. Find a new way to do what you've been trying to do. Teach things in different ways. Use different resources. There's several different things you can do to kind of challenge and change the way you've been doing things to try to get ahead and help those students and staff members. The next thing is enable others to act. You need to empower your staff and students to get on board with the plan. You need to put the power back in their hands so that they'll want to act and they'll want to make a change. The final thing is to encourage the heart. This was the last chapter we had just read about in the book. Recognize great work and a job well done by all. You need to celebrate the small things and the big things from staff and students. Nothing's too small to celebrate. They need to know you're on board and you're behind them and you're their little cheerleader. So make sure they know that you're proud of them. Challenges of being an inclusive leader. I think it would be very time consuming. There's a lot to get done, which goes hand in hand with the heavy workload, which has a lot of work to get done. Getting all the stakeholders to buy into the shared vision, I think, would be really hard. Everybody has their own opinion and their own past and way they were brought up, and could have different principals before you that did things differently and just may not want to buy into your vision. So it's really important to get everybody on board, which I feel like would be very difficult. And finally, having the personality to be this type of leader. Not everybody can be an inclusive leader, so it's important to make sure that you have the characteristics to do so. And these are my resources.